Hey, this is Yannis from SONOR Drums, and I'm very happy to introduce to you our new universal bass drum mount. Yeah, the universal bass drum mount is our new retrofittable bass drum mount solution. Of course, as you might know, in our new Momentum drum series, we are only offering bass drums without a tom mount, and this is the perfect solution to add a tom mount to your Momentum bass drum, and of course also other SONOR bass drums that use the modern SONOR lug design. The universal bass drum mount is designed to fit all bass drum diameters from 18 to 24 inches and from all depths from 14 to 20 inches. So no matter what bass drum diameter you have or what bass drum depth you have, this universal bass drum mount will fit them. Of course, the universal bass drum mount is primarily intended as the bass drum mounting solution for our new Momentum drum series. But of course, it also fits other series like SQ2 and older series like SQ1 and ProLite that use the contemporary SONOR metaled lug design. However, there have been some changes over the years with those series, so with SQ2, SQ1 and ProLite. So before you buy the universal bass drum mount, we would like to make sure that the universal bass drum mount fits to your bass drum. And for that, on our website, we are supplying a template that you can print out and cut out at home to make sure that the universal bass drum mount fits on your bass drum. So it fits all drum diameters from 18 to 24 inches, and of course also all drum depths from 14 to 20 inches. Once you've cut out the template, you have this small piece of paper, and you can just take it and position it behind the two top lugs of your bass drum. And when the edges of the template align with the lugs, the distance is the right measurement to receive the universal bass drum mount. If the lugs doesn't align with the template, the distance is too small or maybe too big, so the universal bass drum mount does not fit. Now let me show you how to mount the universal bass drum mount to your bass drum. So first let's start by attaching the mounting frames. You have two of these mounting frames included in the package, and one side of them is rounded and the other one is flat. And just make sure when you put these on the lugs, so there's no disassembly of the lugs or anything required. These frames are just placed on top of the lugs. Just make sure when you put them on top that the rounded contour in the rubber aligns with the rounded contour at the top of the lugs. What's also very important when you put these on is that the two screws that are on at the front, that they are loosened, or that they are loosened, so these pieces at the side move freely. And when you put on the frames, just make sure that you slide them on from the back and that you are not pushing them on from above, because the rubber pieces are pretty much closed at the bottom and you will not be able to push them on top of the lugs and might scratch your drum in that process. The second step is to attach the mounting rods that the whole mount and the post later sit on. So first start by loosening the hexagonal screws at the top that later secure the rods. So make sure that those are loosened, and then take the first rod and also the mounting carriage that's later sliding on the rods, because they have to be attached at once, because the mounting carriage is not able to be placed on the rods after they are attached. So first slide the first rod in at the back, then take the mounting carriage, guide the rod through the channel. And also when you position the mounting carriage on the rods, make sure that the closed part right here is at the front of the drum. So there's a closed part at the front and this open part at the back. You push it through the channel and then the rod through the front mounting frame. Then you take the second rod and do the same process again. So you slide it in at the back frame, guide it through the channel and push it through the mounting frame at the front. Now you can just make sure that everything is aligned, so check that the distance between the two rods is the same, for example, and also the mounting frames might loosen a little bit or get pulled a little bit away from the lugs during that process, so just make sure that everything's set at the right position and that everything is secure. And then you can, with the supplied key, tighten all the mounting screws, so the 4 mounting screws that are at the top. Now the rods are secured, and then you have also the screws at the frames. Now the frames still move, and you have to tighten those. So once that is all done, the whole assembly is secure, it's not moving anymore, and now you can continue by putting on the post, which I have right here. So it's just this mounting post that you can slide in from the back. So just slide it in and tighten the wing nut. Now the mounting carriage still slides on the rods, which is no problem. You can just fix it at your desired position. So let's say maybe I want to have my mount a little bit more at the front, so I just attach it right here. Just tighten the screws. Then you continue by putting on this memory lock. This is very important just to make sure that this 3-way clamp that we put on later that hold the tom mounts is not sliding up and down during very heavy playing. So just put on this memory lock first and make sure that this little nose, there's a little nose on one side, that one is at the top. So just put that on. And now take this 3-way clamp. You have the corresponding opening in the big mounting hole on the 3-way clamp. So when you put this on the memory lock, the nose that is on the memory lock should at one point align with the opening that's in the 3-way mounting clamp, so it's secured in its in the orientation. Then you just tighten the screw so that it's all secure. You can put in your tom mounts or your tom arms or your cymbal arms, and you're ready to go. Let me show you what accessories can be mounted to the universal bass drum mount. So out of the box, the universal bass drum mount is supplied without any tom or cymbal arms. It's just the bass drum mount and the drum key that's needed to mount the universal bass drum mount to your bass drum. But you can of course fit all of our accessories, tom arms and cymbal arms that have our 19mm pipe diameter. So for example, our TA4000 tom arm or our TA678 tom arm can be mounted on the 3-way clamp at the top. And depending on your setup, of course, you can mount 1 tom arm, you can mount 2 tom arms, or you can mount a cymbal arm, the MBA4000 or the MBA671, or what we also have new for the universal bass drum mount, the short version of our 4000 series cymbal boom arm with a shorter pipe diameter. So that fits like the other cymbal boom arms, just right here at the top. Now I would like to show you some of the adjustability features of our universal bass drum mount. First, if you would like to adjust the position of your toms, so how far they are positioned away from you, you can use the 2 drum key screws that are on the sides right here. So when you loosen them, this whole attachment is able to slide on the mounting rods. So depending on how close you want the toms positioned to you, you can loosen those screws and adjust the distance of the bass drum mount. Now I would like to show you how to adjust the height of the 3-way clamp at the top and also the rotation. So first, loosen the wing nut that is at the back right here, so that's securing the three-way clamp to the post. And then using the supplied drum key, you can loosen the memory lock that's underneath. And when both the memory lock and the three-way clamp are loosened, you can slide the bass drum mount or the three-way clamp up and down the pipe. And also, when they are loosened, you can change the orientation. So maybe you want your second mounted tom positioned a little closer to you and the first a little bit further away. So to make room for the snare to sit in between them, you can of course also change the orientation. And also because this three-way clamp is a completely independent piece from this mounting rod, you can also change the orientation. So let's say you want your toms positioned a little bit closer, but you don't want to change the position on the mounting rods right here. You can just turn the clamp around, also the memory lock, to position the mounts that are at the top right here a little closer to you as a player. Now I would like to show you how easy it is to transport your drum when the universal bass drum mount is fitted. Like on a normal bass drum mount, you have a wing nut at the back right here, and when you loosen that, the post, including the three-way clamp and for example the tom arms that you have mounted right here, can be pulled out of the mounting rack. And this mounting rack can be mounted or can remain mounted on the drum. So you can put the drum in its case with the mounting rack attached. And when it comes to setup again, you just have to take the post that you've removed with your tom arms, for example, and the three-way clamp, just slide it back into place, tighten the wing nut, and it's ready to go. Thanks a lot for watching. If you would like to get more information about our new universal bass drum mount, just get in contact with your preferred SONOR dealer or visit us at sonor.com.